Hello the community, hope you are doing well. So this is a new video for you guys and girls about Dynamics 365 Finance Insight. So thanks again Microsoft to let me show you, for you, the community, this new AI application in top of Dynamics 365 Finance Operation. So yeah, I've been busy right now, but yeah, I've been in the private preview program, so of course, yeah, Microsoft gave me the opportunity for you to show you publicly this information. So thanks again. So this video will be a sneak peek of this new AI application. So hope it will be good for you to have a global overview of what is Finance Insights. So at first I've been in Business Application Summit in May 2012. So yeah, Shivam, hello Shivam, of Microsoft, the principal program manager of Finance Insight, to show a session about Finance Insight. So just after I asked them to be part of this preview. So yeah, now I'm using Finance Insight on a sandbox environment for 3 months now, I think. So yeah, giving some feedbacks, testing, etc. So yeah, and of course, just for you, yeah, I've done. I will put the link on below of this YouTube video, but I've created, of course, an article for you in English, a French video, and yes, now an English video, because I think, yeah, my accent is not maybe the best, but thanks to the French accent. But yeah, I hope that it will give you a good overview to see that in. Maybe in early adopter or early, I don't know if I'm the first one doing this video on Finance Insight. Of course, not Microsoft guy yeah, as a partner, but so let's jump in. So yeah, don't hesitate to read the whole article on my blog, because it's a huge article. Yeah, maybe too much, but yeah, I was really enthusiastic and to give you all information you can have at this time. So this, as I said, it's still in preview. I think maybe Finance Insight will be global availability maybe at the end of the year. Normally they thought, I think, to add also a public preview, but we don't have any ATA right now, so I don't know when you can all have access to it, but don't hesitate. In the blog, of course, I did, I think, yeah, here I did a link. Well, it's not really a link, but it's an email address that you can send directly to the product team to ask them to be part of this private preview. So it's not really a private preview, it's a preview. So I think, I don't know if everyone can be part of it, but yeah, you can of course ask them to be part of this preview and try it on your own to see with your own data, your own financial data, that on your sandbox, on the sandbox environment, what you can achieve. And maybe, of course, that's the purpose of this preview. It's of course to give feedback to Microsoft, so before this AI application can be live. So what is Finance Insight for Finance Operation? First, yeah, as an introduction, I don't know if you are more on ERP system, Finance Operation or AX before, you maybe have seen that Microsoft is putting a lot of efforts, but really on CRM or customer engagement part on AI for AI application. So maybe you already know or not Sales Insight, Customer Service Insight, Customer Insight, that I like, Customer Insight, the CDP platform, but not really on ERP side. So that's why I think Microsoft put some efforts to bring some AI, machine learning, model prediction on top of ERP, since I think you know that you have a lot of processes that you can handle on ERP, a lot of data. not only finance, but of course supply chain data, purchase order, sales order, etc. Even asset management or whatever module you can have. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for me. If you are on ERP system, you can have a lot of global insight, global machine learning prediction model. But in the past, you can already do that on your own if you want. And if you are aware of how you can achieve machine learning model on Azure or Azure AI services or whatever you want. But now with the Power Platform, again, thanks to the Power Platform on top of ERP, on Dynamics FinOps, you can have AI Builder, and you will see that Finance Insight will use AI Builder to predict, to add the more easier an AI model just for you, that you can even extend it on a certain limit, of course. But of course, it's very great because you can really implement and add some AI model and not spend 6 months project to build your own model just to respond one question. Because as you will see, my Finance Insight is more on 3 parts: customer payment prediction, budget proposal, and the last one, cash flow forecast. Yeah. And so this you will have at this time of this preview, you will have 3 models. Of course, maybe Finance Insight will have some release wave on the future, so maybe they will add more AI models. So also, I don't know at this time the real price. Maybe it will be a cost add-on on your subscription, or maybe you will just have to be charged for the AI Builder services. So yeah, the time will answer this question. So yeah. So that's why I've put it this introduction, because as you can see, if I go to the Dynamics 365 public website, you can see all the artificial intelligence. So you can see that now they are bringing a lot of new AI or insight product with Dynamics 365. So, and Finance Insight is now part of it for the ERP. Maybe they will add also in the future, maybe like a supply chain AI model, don't know, but maybe I think you have also already the demand forecasting model for the supply chain part. But yeah, I think Microsoft will put a lot of efforts on insights, because for me it's great to have like bringing a new ERP system, but just not doing implementation and that's it. Of course, you can really have intelligence on your data, and maybe this is a real challenge now. It's not just spending time to implement a new ERP just to handle process, but also if key user on the system can have more intelligence data and help them to answer quick, very business question. Like this one, is this customer will pay me late or not? That's a really critical question, like in the COVID-19 right now, where you have a lot of, not maybe all companies have this problem, but I know that some companies, like in France, have some cash flow problem. Of course, since after the healthcare problem, you have a financial problem about financial issues. So that's why really the credit risk officer or the CFO can really help. Will be, I think, really appreciate this kind of new AI application. So, as I said, you can be part of it. We don't have yet a public preview. Don't have also the cost, but here is a prerequisite for Finance Insight. So you will have to have, of course, a sandbox instance, like a tier 2, with the 10.0.12 version. So I think now it's global availability today, end of July. So you can use this version with Finance Insight. It's better. It's better, of course, to copy and refresh your production database on this sandbox, because the aim, of course, is to test with like the real production data, and especially I suggest you to have, if you have 1 year of volume of financial data, it will be great, because if you just have 1 or 10 months or very small volume of data, of course, the model will not be great about the accuracy, because the more data you have, the better will be your accuracy, etc. So you will need a CDS environment. Well, now Dataflex Pro. Dataflex Pro environment. Yeah. So sorry of this article, but I wrote it before the announcement of the changing name of CDS, so Common Data Service, being now Dataflex Pro. So yeah, you will see. And if I speak with CDS name, sorry, but I'm not yet on the Dataflex Pro new name. You will need, of course, an Azure Data Lake, so it's very important. And as I already show maybe on some video, all video, or of course on my blog, I show you that Data Lake is really now everywhere, and it's mandatory. So for Finance Insight, you will need in mandatory setup a Data Lake. So because you will see that the entity store, part of the aggregate measurement, that now you can use especially for Power BI reporting, but here it will be used to aggregate measurement, to aggregate your financial data, and after push it to your CDS where AI Builder will do the prediction. So you need a data lake for finance operation. So really it's time for you to jump to this new kind of architecture. Yeah. So I've put it a new unsexy schema. Sorry. Yeah, but still I hope it will be good for you to know what is the global technical architecture behind the scene on Finance Insight. So of course you will need a finance operation instance, sandbox. This will where all your data is on it, for transactional, financial, transactional data. Of course, after it will be sync it with the batch full reset or incremental update to the Azure Data Lake, where you will have all your aggregate measurement. After you will have a warm-up to init the global data in a CDS environment. So you will see that on your CDS or Dataflex Pro environment, you will have all your global data on same as your data lake. You will have your new entity, custom entity on your CDS, where the AI Builder will be calculate the prediction. So after the AI Builder will do scoring on every line, you will have the result on another entity on your CDS, and of course to back up or to push after the result to finance operation, you will use a component called Data Integration Project on your Power Platform. Okay, very similar as DualWrite somehow or Dataflow. Yeah, it's good component to sync CDS to finance operation on data entities. On entities, you have a template, entity mapping, etc., scheduling. Yeah. Okay, so on this video I will not, of course, show you directly the how to set up. After I've done a part to explain every like a sneak peek configuration, because as part of the private preview or preview program, Microsoft will give you a whole document, Microsoft documentation document. So of course every steps is very good documented, and of course they will also I don't use it on my own, but for me, but I think they provide also PowerShell script for you on technical part to maybe somehow doing a lot of stuff behind the scene to help you to configure all the stuff needed. So yeah. Yeah, here is a part for the Azure Data Lake, for the Entity Store, already told you. Of course, the CDS environment, you will need a new one, like a sandbox CDS environment. Of course, on the same region, for the latency part, as your finance operation instance. Of course, you need another key vault, you will need an application, Azure Active Directory application with access policy, install new LCS add-in. Yeah, so yeah, not a lot of, but some configuration, yeah, of course. So maybe if Finance Insight will be in global availability, maybe they will have like, I hope so, I just give this feedback to Microsoft, but to have like init, or I don't know, just to, you know, to have just a button that calls in their backend the PowerShell script that init everything you need for Finance Insight. That will be very great, of course. Especially because I know that some Dynamics 365 Finance Operation Architect maybe don't have a very good knowledge, strong knowledge on, of course, Dynamics 365, but not every people know very well Azure Keyboard, Azure part, you know, Azure Data Lake, etc. Even, of course, the CDS part, so DataFlex Pro environment. So, yeah, sounds maybe a little for me complicated right now, but yeah. But for my side, I think I'm done all this configuration in half a day, maybe day. But yeah, you will do that one time, and that's after it's done. So yeah, not very complex part. It's just a lot of configuration to do, and for Dynamics 365, for Azure and CS. So yeah, a lot of components, you know. So you will need, of course, to activate some workspace on your feature management workspace, to activate this preview information. And I think that's it. So now I can jump directly to Finance Operation to show you, of course, everything you can need. So here we go. So let's go to Finance Insight. So here I am Finance Operation instance sandbox, where I have all my Finance Insight configured already for you. So I will just also to share with you, I'm very good on customer payment prediction part, because it was the first component to test on the preview, and for 2 or 3 months now. And cash flow forecast or budget proposal, I didn't know very well. Well, I already configure it, use it, ask or my finance colleague, you know, because I'm not a financial consultant, I'm a technical consultant. So yeah, I know that maybe I will somehow next time doing maybe just a specific video only on cash flow or budget proposal, because I'm currently testing it, so I don't have a lot of feedbacks yet, or I can show you something, but not as many as customer payment prediction. Okay. So yeah, sorry for that, but yeah. But for me, the customer payment prediction seems to be the major part of Finance Insight, you know. So, and at this time, this is the only one, I think, yeah. This is the only one that you can extend it a little, you know. So you will see that the 2 other, budget proposal or cash flow forecast, you just ask them to train your model, but you can't extend it right now. So. But the customer payment prediction, you can see if I click it here on view data fields used in prediction model, you can see all the fields that will be part of your model, okay? That will be synced directly to your finance operation data lake and CDS to be used on the AI builder model. Of course, at this time, as part also as a feedback for Microsoft, I already shared with them, but of course it would be great to extend it maybe a little, just adding maybe new fields like custom fields, because I don't know, but if you have adding a lot of custom fields, important custom field like on customer side, because you will see that for this part of customer payment prediction, you will put some customer, you know, customer information, like the customer group, you know, and of course the invoice part, because this is a major part to calculate if your customer will pay you with the due date, late or on time. But yeah, if you are adding a lot of fields on customer side, and you know that maybe the segment, and I think you don't have a segment on customer, but if you are adding new fields that can be best for the model, yeah, you can't at this time yet extend it, but yeah, maybe next time or the next release wave, I don't know, but yeah, because as a entity store aggregate measurement, you can extend as a developer, a technical developer, you can create a new one. You can extend the aggregate measurement on the entity store, the one from Microsoft, to add new fields and to push it after on the data lake and the CDS for AI Builder. The major part, of course, is click on enable feature. For that, not really complex. But before enable it, maybe be careful about this setup. This is really important. I think by default it's 30 days. It's not 60 as you can see on my side, but I've put it 60, but it was really because on this customer data where I have Finance Insight, I know that this customer has more, business purpose. He knows that customer pay very often in late mode and not very on time. But very late for them is very when the customer will pay 60 days after the due date. So, it depends on your business. So this is a business question that you have to ask depending of your company, finance on the ERP. So yeah. But why I've done that? Because at first, you can see that I have 80%, around 80% on accuracy of the model with just 1 year of data. So I think if I have more or 2 or 3 years of data, I can be like 90%. And I have put it 60 days, and with that, the model has increased to the accuracy by 5%. So it was really great. You will see that, we will see just after, that you can improve the model accuracy by clicking it, and you will be redirected to the AI Builder part, where you can also unselect unnecessary fields. This is really important for AI model. Like a data scientist, you will be like a test, adding fields, unselected fields, to check what is the most important part for the mathematic fields, mathematic models, to be very good on the accuracy of your prediction. So it's like a test, and after, okay, it's good, this is the best model for me. Okay, publish this one, because it's very complex on the first, on the first training of your model. It's very complex to know. Okay, this will be the best one in one step. So of course you will be like an iterating model. You will iterate and check if it's the good one. So let's jump to the AI Builder part, of course. So if I click on it, okay, so here I am on AI Builder application. So here you will have some information. So this is not really a black box, Of course you will have some information for you on AI Builder. AI Builder is really to help every people, even maybe citizen developer, to build some quick AI model without to be a real data scientist. So I love this interface. It's very simple. You have all information needed. I've been in the past on some project with Azure Machine Learning stuff based on Dynamics 365 data. So I used to work a little on the Machine Learning Studio. And yeah, this is more easier on AI Builder, believe me. So of course you have your performance of your system. So if I click on see details, I can of course see what is A, B, C or D. Of course for me, for the customer, I think B or E is mandatory. If you are on C, it's like you will put some prediction on the customer payment prediction on finance operation, but half of the time you will not be sure of you. So I think it's not the best. Of course, Finance Insight is really, like every prediction model. It depends on if you want really to be sure or not of this prediction, you know. If you take action based on this insight and you are not sure about you, kind of complicated, you know. If you are on the customer payment prediction and you are 0.5% sure, confident that this guy will not pay you on time, and eventually, in fact, he already pay you, and you contact him like, oh, I know you will not pay me at time, you know, you take action, credit limit, whatever you want. And so yeah, it's really, I think, some risk about that. So yeah, for me, like me, 80% is, if, of course, 100% will be the best way, but yeah, it's quite complicated to be at 100%, but yeah, still it's, yeah, so be careful of that, of course. The data influence, very the most important part for me on AI Builder here is to check if everything you have, every field is really necessary for you to be part of this AI model. So you will see that I can edit the model after and unselect or select fields you want to be part of this model that you want to use. So of course, if you have 1 or 2%, yeah, still use it as a best practice for you. If you are on 0%, oh, yeah, unselect it because it's like SQL index, SQL like SQL Azure, SQL index on database. Don't put index, like don't put fields on your AI model if you are not sure that it will be good for the model. If you put a lot of fields without to be sure that it's really important for the prediction, you will decrease your accuracy and not increase it. So yeah, be careful of that. Not yeah. But as I said, you will iterate, checking every time. This field, no, okay, republish, retrain, okay, it's good now, better accuracy, okay, now this one, uncheck it, okay, testing it, okay, it's good, new accuracy, better than the previous one, publishing, etc., you know. But you will do just one time, and when you are sure about you publish this model, this version of your model, the best one, with the best accuracy, and after you will be good. Okay, on the published version, you will see that you have the database sync, scheduled DI. So, of course, after your AI model is live, it will predict the warm-up process, you know, the first init process, every record you have at this time, at the first time, or like the first training of your model. And after, every time you have new data, of course, you can ask AI Builder, since you will have, like the data lake will be synced, I don't know for you, but for me, I sync the data lake for the entity store 1 time per day. So I can ask after to this model to bringing new data every day or so, and to score every new data coming up at every day, you know. So every day, new data, I don't know, 1,000 of financial data, 1,000 of invoices, I don't know. Sync it to the CDS, ask AI Builder to predict new score, and after you will see that I have a data integration project on Power Platform that will sync back the result on finance operation, okay? And if you click it, this is a run, you know, how often your model generates new prediction or score. And of course, you have also for me, as I said, I'm using DI base, but here I can say also this part is really important, is to ask the model to retrain it every month, like me, or every week. It does, yeah, it depends on how are your volume of data, you know. If you have just 1,000 every week or 10,000, of course, this is not the same. And it's really important to ask the model to retrain them automatically for you, because it will improve the accuracy over the time. So yeah, so don't forget to do that. So if I just show you how you can use like the edit model, so you can click here, edit model, start from published version, it will create a new version where here I can set up the fields I want or not, and maybe also adding some filtering. And also the first part, as I remember when it's loading, it's ask me, we are here, what you want to predict, you know, the 3 categories: on time, late, very late. So I tried also to use just two categories, on time, very late. Like if the customer will pay me late, but just for, I don't know, 10 days, and a customer pay me 60 days after the due date, yeah, it's not the same. But really, I think after speaking with Dave, hello Dave, in Microsoft, yeah, I think you stay with that, you know. You need to have 3 categories. I think this is really important, and that's why I think Microsoft adding these 3 categories and not just 2, like a Boolean, no, yes, yeah. It's, you know, it's better to have like I know this guy will not pay me on time with late like 10% and very late 5%, you know. It's to have a global overview, to not have just a Boolean value, because of course the question was with a Boolean value as a response, you know, is the customer will pay me on time or not, but it's a yes or no, but if it's no, he will pay me lately. Okay, yeah, but lately, but how much, you know? Because the credit risk officer will not take the same action as very, very, very late and just little late, you know? Okay, so yeah, stay with that. After, most important part, as I said, is really to pick only fields needed. So that's why I show you the most influential data before on 0% or 1 or 2%. So yeah, so just select the fields you want. So you just have to unselect or select. So for this AI model, of course, we have the outcome entity, historical entity about invoicing, of course, and the customer part, like master data part. And the last part, before asking the model to calculate and predict and train the model, you can also filter data. For that, I don't use it on my own, but still it's good to see that you can maybe like on every AI builder model, I think you can add some filtering, especially for FinOps, maybe on the legal entity, because you will see that, of course, you will calculate Finance Insight AI model, a customer payment prediction AI model for all entity. And maybe you don't want to have the Finance Insight for just, or you want just for one legal entity and not everyone. So yeah, so that's why you can filter if you want, or based on other data if you want. So okay, I think I'm done. So I will click on Save and Closed, but I will discard it, I think, after. Yeah, I can discard to erase this new version. So I think that's it on, yeah, that's it I think on AI Builder. On the CDS Dataflex Pro environment, the same one as the AI Builder. You can also have, if you want, you will see that you have some, you know, some custom entities that will be part of the Finance Insight. So you can see Finance Insight here. I have also, I think, yeah, so you can see this is the 2 entity where you will have all the data for the AI Builder, and this is this one used for result, you know. And after, when all, I can show you the result if you want. You can go there directly, the result entity on your CDS. You click on data, you click on all fields for the view here, and you have all necessary information. On every line you can have the likelihood and the explanation, etc., the calculated prediction for this line. Okay, so you have access on the data before it will be synced in FinOps. So it's great also to analyze it, because you can extract it if you want in Excel. And if I go to the admin Power Platform side, I will show you 2 things for you. One, yeah, sorry. So you will have the data integration part. So this is the last part of the schema of the architecture that I show you. So of course the last one will be to sync all your the entity that I showed you just before, the result entity to finance operation, to have the prediction in finance operation directly. So you will have to create one project per AI model, like Cash Flow Insight, one project for Cash Flow Insight, one project for budget proposal, and of course one project like me for, I call it Funds Finance Insight, but this one is for my project for the customer payment prediction. So if I click on it, if you don't know really well this part of Power Platform, but it's very likely like the dual write framework. It's really the same. So here you will have the task of your data integration part. So of course it's to sync the entities of CDS to the finance operation data entities, where you will have to pick your connection set. A connection set is just to have the account needed to sync and connect between the two systems. And you can have a scheduling, of course, to sync the data back. Since as I show you before, I will score every day new data coming up on my CDS with AI Builder, I can ask data integration part to push back data to finance operation 1 time per day, after prediction is done. So you can schedule it like that, and of course to be notified if you have some errors, etc. Yeah, and you have all execution history, so you can check what is going on. Okay, I think I'm done for that. So if I'm going back to finance operation, just before going directly to the business side, just to show you, as I said, the cash flow forecast or even the budget proposal, the two other AI model, you can just enable the feature and that's it. For the cash flow forecast, you can even, of course, at this time, refresh the model. So, but as you can see, you don't have setup or you don't have improved model accuracy or, so. Okay, so if I go directly to show you the result, of course, so for the customer payment prediction, you have two new menu items for you, this one and this one. So you have the payment prediction per customer and per transaction. So if I click on per customer, so here you can see formation. So if I pick this line like that, I know this customer is half of the time in late mode. So, and yet more than 10% very late. And of course, you have, the percentage here on the three categories of the model prediction. But you have a right panel here with the related information, where if you are a credit risk officer, you can maybe have more knowledge, more information about this prediction. So here the user, the business user, can have also the information of your prediction model performance. So it's great for me because user can know, okay, this part is, I think, 80%, around 80% sure. So be careful of that, okay? And of course, it's important to have, okay, half of the time this customer is late, but this is the amount for this pay late, So of course it's very important, because if he's really if he is on time only for small amount of invoices, but he is on late, even very late for the whole global volume of the one very large invoice, it's important to know, because of course this will impact more your cash flow, because you have also overall information like the average days late. You will have not for this customer, but for this one, I think here I have, for this one is often in on-time mode. If I click on it, I have for information, but here I know this is the amount behind the scene, on time, okay, very late, okay. The pay late early 14, average number of day paid early, and you have the average day late here, it's 15. So yeah, lot of information, really full, I think, for me, for the business. Yeah, so yeah, really great for that. And of course you have the same information, but also at the transactional level. So here I will have exactly the same thing. If I click on one transaction, sorry, this transaction will be on time at 95%. So yeah, so it's great because you can really go deeper and not only on customer part level. Okay, I think that's most of it for the business functional side for this AI model on the customer payment prediction. And for the I can't show you the budget proposal, but on business side, but I can show you a little bit the cash flow forecast because I set up it for on this sandbox. And the cash flow forecast, if I go on it, you have the cash forecast where here I can choose the good legal entity for me, but you can set up multiple legal entity. And here you have the cash flow forecast for months in the future to know what is your balance, and especially based on some main account. But you can filter here to have to show the cash flow forecast for just one specific main account. Very, very important part. You can add external data because as a feedback, of course, it's very great to add some external data, especially for the cash flow, cash and back management, where a lot of customers that I know use another tool than finance operation to calculate this kind of thing. But here you can set up an external data, so not only ERP data can be part of this cash flow forecast. You can refresh the model at any time. Here the last, it was 1 month ago, and maybe I can click on it. Yes, okay. Okay, it's asking now, and I can click on use snapshot. So it's important here where you can ask them right now, 2022 of July, take a snapshot at this time, and after you can, have a comparison compared to the last snapshot, and to see what if it was a really good cash flow forecast calculated before. So very important to take snapshot. So I think I'm done. So hopefully it will be it was a good overview of Finance Insight for you. But of course, as usual, you can contact me anytime you want if you have more questions, you want more details or whatever you want. But really, I suggest you to be part of this preview. So go back to my blog. You have the email address to contact the Microsoft product team for that. And so see you next time. Take care, and don't hesitate, of course, to subscribe or share this video, of course, to any colleague you want. So goodbye. See you. Thanks.